reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus told his disciples this parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out at dawn to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with them for the usual daily wage, he sent them into his vineyard. Going out about 9 o'clock, the landowner saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and he said to them, "You too, go into my vineyard, and I will give you what is just." So they went off. And he went out again around noon, and around 3 o'clock, and did likewise. Going out about 5 o'clock, the landowner found others standing around and said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" They answered, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You too go into my vineyard." When it was evening, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Summon the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and ending with the first." When those who had started about 5 o'clock came, each received the usual daily wage. So when the first came, they thought that they would receive more, but each of them also got the usual wage. And on receiving it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, "These last ones worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who bore the day's burden and the heat." He said to one of them in reply, "My friend, I am not cheating you. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what is yours and go. What if I wish to give this last one the same as you? Am I not free to do as I wish with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous?" Thus the last will be first, and the first will be last. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. This is your lucky day. You get to hear 2 Nicks. I would like to thank Father Miller for giving me the opportunity to provide the reflection today for our readings as we begin our faith formation and evangelization programs for this year. In today's gospel, we hear about the parable of the landowner and the laborers in the vineyard. By human standards, there's a sense of unfairness in this simple lesson. By human standards, it seems outrageous that the laborers who started earlier are paid the same wage as those who only put in 1 hour of work. Would we not complain if we worked hard all day and are paid the same amount as the one who did only an hour's work? But by God's standards, we are all called to the vineyard to do the work of God. Whether you come early or you come late, your reward is the same. By God's standards, mercy and love supersede the human sense of fairness and what is right. The first reading puts this concept eloquently, where we hear God saying, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways. As high as the heavens are above the earth, so high are my ways above your ways, and my thoughts above your thoughts." So who are we to question God? All are called to the vineyard, whether you come early or come late. Throughout the Old and New Testament, the metaphor of the vineyard is often used to describe the place where God's work of salvation takes place. The vineyard is a beautiful metaphor that perhaps we can relate to living in a region where there are many vineyards that produce some pretty good wines. When you talk to any owner of the wineries, they speak with passion about the importance of growing grapes in the right kind of soil and a certain proximity to Lake Erie. They talk about the tender care of nurturing the grapevines and the importance of pruning in order to get the best yield of grapes, and of knowing when the best time to harvest and to begin the wine-making process. All of this is labor-intensive, and many laborers are needed. The invitation to be laborers in God's vineyard is being extended to you and me. As church, as baptized Catholic Christians, it is our mission to be laborers in God's kingdom. Jesus invites us to continue his work of establishing his kingdom in our midst. As Catholic Christians, we believe that it is through the sacraments, and especially through the Eucharist, that we respond to this invitation. Last year, we embarked together on a journey of discipleship, following in the footsteps of Jesus. And we explored together ways to reach out to those in our families and friends who no longer practice our faith. This year, we continue this important mission of evangelization and outreach as we explored together a deeper understanding of what is at the core of our Catholic faith, and that is the sacrament of the Most Holy Eucharist, and a call to live out the presence of Jesus in our daily lives. All our faith formation programs this year will focus on the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, the importance of the Eucharistic celebration of the Mass, and the call to be laborers in God's vineyard. Students in our faith formation classes will be studying this throughout the year. Our adult faith discussion groups will also be exploring this topic. So stay tuned to bulletin inserts, catch our blog on the website, and announcements for special programs that we will be offering throughout the year. So it is through the Holy Eucharist that we are called to be laborers in God's vineyard. St. Augustine says this very simply when he says, "You must become what you have eaten." As we approach the Eucharistic liturgy today, I ask you to reflect on the real presence of Christ in our midst and think about the invitation to be laborers in God's vineyard. And remember, you are already hired.